So now let's take a look at the details of each type of where clause comparison. As in, when we go to the manual, we had a specific list: comparison conditions, logical, pattern matching, null, and between. These are the ones we'll cover in this course. Exists and in apply to subqueries, which will be covered in the next course. So now let's go and look at some examples, and I will explain and show you how things work by example, which to me makes perfect sense. So let's connect to our database. And here we are connected, and I can open up the tables and have a look at what we've got in terms of tables. So first of all, let's just do a straightforward query and just run this one. Control Enter on the same line. Let's get rid of the message log. That's just irritating. Make this smaller. So now we can see we have all the rows in the category table. So now, where expression equals expression. So let's change the query and select from the category table where the category ID is equal to 1. Run this query, and as you can see, we get a single row. Run the previous one again to look at all the data, and we're simply retrieving that row. I can change this value, say a 5, hit return, and we get record number 5. Once again, going back to here, we'll see that we have category ID 5 alternative rock. So now let's go and take a look at something else, and we'll pull the information from the database simply using a different test. In this case, rather than using the category ID field, we're going to look at the name field in this table. Control Enter, and we get the comedy record, which if we go and look at the entire data set again, we're actually looking for category ID 6 and comedy, which is that record. And we can also select on the parent column, depending on what we want to do and how we want to do it, and we get a specific set of records there. In this case, we've got parent ID 3. What we're actually doing is we're finding every column that has parent ID 3, which is ballet, dance, classical opera, museums, theatre, which happens to be 4 rows because these rows all have a parent ID of 3, meaning they're part of the arts and theatre category in the hierarchical structure. That's equality, because we always use an equals sign, saying something is equal to something. Find me the data based on a positive result that equals X. We can also do a negative, where something is not equal to something. This is called an inequality check. When it comes to inequality, you can use any of these. These are actually 3 different options for checking inequality. I don't know why Oracle allows this. It's possible that it needs to comply with the ASCII standards, or simply that it's a legacy issue with Oracle. But the exclamation mark with equals, these 2 little goodies here, and the caret and the equals, they all mean the same thing. They mean where an expression is not equal to something. So let's say I'm now going to go and find everything but the comedy data. So in this case, I found only the comedy data. Now I'm going to say find everything but the comedy data. So if I look through my records, I will find that I don't have. In fact, it would be a good idea if I sorted it, which we will cover in a later chapter, but order by name, hit return. We will cover the order by clause in a later chapter. As you can see, LMNO, there's no comedy in between there, it's been removed. And obviously we can do the same thing against different fields containing numbers. This is just showing you that the greater than and less than combination works. And this does exactly the same thing. And obviously we can do the same thing. Just pasting this in again. Let's get rid of one of these examples. Do the same thing with the little caret character, which I have trouble finding on the keyboard sometimes, and that's it. This does the same thing. We can copy and paste this into the file, so you have the example. And was there something else in here that we added? there was an order by clause. I'm going to leave that out for now, at least out of the text file. This is your work file for this particular movie. I don't want to add the order by clause into the work file for this chapter because it's covered in a later chapter. That's the basis of equality and inequality in where clauses. It's pretty simple.